We are back with you live once again on another Johnny Torch live broadcast. Looks a little bit like there was some kind of buffering going on. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but we are live and we are back at it yet again with another Johnny Torch live broadcast. Johnny Torch live number 182 today. Torch News Roundup number 160. I just realized I didn't put a title in for this broadcast. I didn't do that yet. But here we are yet again on the only way to spend your Saturday here with us on the Johnny Torch program. That sounds old-fashioned, doesn't it? The Johnny Torch program. They didn't call things programs since like the 1950s, right? But that's what we call this. Sometimes. Apologies right off the bat because I sound pretty hoarse. At least I sound hoarse to myself. I don't know how it's coming across through the video, through the internet waves, but woke up kind of hoarse today, hoping I'm not going to be under the weather, especially with Thanksgiving right around the corner. But if there is any difference in my voice and it doesn't quite sound up to snuff, apologies in advance. I've got the old bottle of H2O right by me here, just in case. And I'm sure I'll be sipping from that liberally as the show progresses. Thank you for joining me, one and all. And of course, if you can hit that like button, that would be much appreciated. Hit the dislike button if you feel that you must. I don't think there's any justification for it, but I'm all for free will. And make sure you share the video if you like what you see. Subscribe as well. We are at 104 subscribers. I lost one subscriber. I don't know exactly why or how that happened. I think YouTube does a sweep every couple of months and drops a couple of subs from your channel just to, just to mess with you. I guess they're sort of dead accounts or something. I don't know. But welcome and thank you to everyone who does sub, because it is much, much, much appreciated. We are trying to gain more subs and keep the fan base going and building. And it's not very easy with the way YouTube has played things, right? I mean, they're making it more and more difficult. Now there's the COPPA rules, and I don't know, all that kind of stuff is going on. And I don't know, I kind of feel that YouTube's platform, the days are numbered. You know what I mean? This is, as they say, nothing lasts forever. And I think YouTube is kind of, I don't want to say on its last legs, but I think there is going to be a time when YouTube is no longer there for us in the manner with which we are accustomed. So that is something I'm kind of wrestling with. I'm grappling with what to do as I've taken the past 4 years trying to build a channel and stuff. It kind of feels like it can be taken away from you at any time for no valid reason. Anyway, I digress. You are here for the news of the week in pop culture. And there's not a whole lot of news. We're probably going to still make it to about an hour because I'm long-winded and I stretch stories to the breaking point at some times. First off, though, some, of the usual typical house cleaning I do. We have to talk about The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, the fantastic, the wonderful, the exceptional comic book series that you see before you. The gray-coated and gray fedoraed Bullets Bourbon, the Private Eye, the titular Private Eye, who takes on the most colorful collection of villains imaginable, all to defend Stark City from the forces of evil, such as Carrot Top, his lacking lackey Pickle Puss, I just get confused there, Pencil Neck, his other main nemesis, are spotlight in the most recent graphic novel collection in our remaster series. We're going back and remastering the last 6 issues into graphic novel format. So you can check the link in the description below for When the Night Comes. That is our 3-issue graphic novel. Runs about 64 pages, if I remember correctly, and it tells the story of the teaming up of Bullets Bourbon's 2 most dangerous villains, Carrot Top and Pencil Neck, as they seek world domination. And we also are introduced to Desiree Miller, the object of Bullet's affection, to the left of the screen, and of course, the the notorious Horatio T. Scotch, the the rival of Bullets Bourbon. He's sort of a he's sort of a mischievous character that kind of is out to sort of scoop bullets on the the Glory, and it's very interesting, their dynamic. I'm going to get more into that when we do another. We're going to do another video just centered on Bullets Bourbon alone. The second remaster has just been completed, and I set the files to the printer, so that will be out hopefully at least by Christmas. And that would make a wonderful Christmas present to me and whoever ends up receiving it, which is the introduction to Horatio T. Scotch and the infamous pencil neck. And that is a much more funnier story, and you know, I leaned a lot more into the humor with that one. But as you can tell just from the visuals, that Bullets Bourbon is a, you know, rather tongue-in-cheek look at the action-adventure genre. I kind of felt that the superhero genre was kind of tapped out. So for my comic, I went to the action hero of the 80s, which is what I was properly grown up on and nourished as a child with. The action shows of the 80s, and, you know, I try to take that sensibility and apply it to my protagonist, and, you know, also the sensibilities of superhero comics, of course, that plays very heavily into the whole procedure. So once again, check out the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. We get some new preview pages up for When the Night Comes. I'm not sure if I should put up some preview pages for Knock on Wood, because that's going to be out again. But, you know, it's still new to some people, even though I've had, you know, previews for these books up for like the past 8 years. Quite honestly, there's probably people out there that have never even heard of it, so it'll be new to them. But I don't like to, like, put too many new pages up. Spoils the excitement of finding out what's going to happen. I always like to think that the reader is going to just go in not knowing what's going to happen. And, you know, what is J.J. Abrams got the copyright on mystery boxes? Nah, I can do the same shtick. I don't want anybody to know what's going to happen until they pick up the book for themselves. But anyway, check out the link in the description below for my website, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. And also check the link in the description below for my Twitter page, where you can contact me for any and all reasons, any and all purposes. I will be there for you. We got the chat room open. I did post a message on Twitter saying that the second half of the show, because we don't have a whole lot to talk about, the second half of the show, I would open up to questions and ask me anything, and heaven knows I don't have enough viewers to really substantiate that. But if you do have a question, you can leave it in my Twitter page. You know, just tweet me under that link, and you know, leave it in the comments, and I always read the comments in a subsequent broadcast. So speaking of that, we have Mailbag. Yes, it's a mailbag segment where I read some of the comments on my previous videos. Now, if I can find the right, here we go, the right tab to open so I can read it. Let's see. Pete Eddy left a comment on, let's see, what number is this? Johnny Torch Live number 139. Get woke, get canceled. This is when I updated my Supergirl Please Punch a Big Robot campaign. I did that all last year. And in fairness, I think they did take a step in the right direction for Supergirl this season. It seems much more action-oriented. They've got a much more personal story. They're not playing to the SJW crowd quite as much. They're still, you know, they're playing to the what's her name, Alex, her having the storyline of trying to get into a relationship now with Jimmy Olsen's sister. It's like, I don't understand why we have to focus on that. I don't care about the relationship aspect of this, but between both her and Jimmy's sister, and with Brainy and Dreamer, it's like, that's the stuff that I wish we could really cut back on. To their credit, it is slightly less intrusive, I think. But I think we have a pretty good season this season for Supergirl, because I don't like the new suit. I don't like the fact that it's woke and, you know, they had to fully do away with the skirt and so forth. I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm sure I say that every week when we talk about this subject. But Pete Eddy left a comment on that, and that video, like I said, you can check it out, is where I talk about how the more the show gets woke, the more danger there is to it being canceled. All the superhero shows on CW have this looming threat of cancellation, particularly Supergirl, because I believe at least before Batwoman came out, it was cited as the most SJW. Black Lightning, possibly too, but to be honest with you, Black Lightning, I don't really know. I mean, I haven't caught up with Black Lightning yet. I just seen the first episode of the season. I don't know if they're quite as SJW as they seemed in previous seasons, but I don't think anybody talks about Black Lightning. I never really hear it anymore. It was quite popular on Twitter during the first season, and then after that, I think a lot of people like kind of dropped it. But Pete Eddy left me a comment, and he said, "They dissed the source material and pushed SJW nonsense. I like the character Supergirl in the comics. I hate what they did to her in this show." So thank you for the comment, Pete Eddy, and yes, I agree wholeheartedly with that, that for too much of, I would say particularly during the CW acquisition of Supergirl during the second season, from the second season on, it is pretty difficult to not see how it had gotten infected with SJW material. Now, it was always somewhat feminist in the first season with Cat Grant and all that, but it became far more like LGBTQ and, you know, very anti-Trump and so forth. And it's like all that stuff sticks out like a sore thumb because nobody's really interested in that. At least the ratings don't bear out that there is a huge segment of SJWs or left-wingers that are just gaga over the storylines of, you know, anti-Trump and pro-LGBTQ. It doesn't seem that way regarding the ratings because they're constantly saying how the ratings are suffering. But as I said, this season they're playing into their strengths. It seems a lot more stable. It's interesting because Supergirl was never really an SJW character. I mean, they kind of tried to do that with Captain Marvel over in Marvel, where she's the feminist and the SJW character. And, you know, for DC, Oliver Queen was always the radical leftist. So, you know, I kind of had my concerns when I heard they were doing an Arrow show that, well, you know, television being such as it is, they're going to force him into a hugely leftist persona or something. I mean, I never liked Green Arrow being overly leftist in the comics either, but they kind of try to leaven it with the Green Lantern pairing. But anyway, thank you for the comment yet again. I think also they're leaning into the Lena Luthor storyline, which is pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty happy with how they've given Lena the heel turn, particularly like, for instance, compared to Slade Wilson, where they kind of had it that he's best friends with Ollie, and then he's kind of jealous of him and his relationship with Shadow, and then it's like, well, he took the Mirakuru that made him, like, completely nuts, but then again, when that goes away, he still hates Ollie because it really wasn't the Mirakuru, and then, you know, it was just kind of like it was all over the place, the way they set that up. Here, I think they set up Lena's heel turn a lot stronger, because it seems like she's a victim of someone who has been betrayed multiple times, with family, with friends, and a lot of people are saying, like, you know, just play the character as heroic or something, but that does weigh on somebody in real life, you know what I mean? When someone has been routinely betrayed, they have trouble letting people in and trusting them. And I think that's kind of, Kara is sort of being, you know, the victim here, because she is, like, you know, put in a position where she looks bad for not telling Lena the truth, but at the same time, she's got the weight of like 4 or 5 other people betraying Lena, and that's what is making Lena's judgment against her all the stronger. So a lot of people, I don't think, see that, but I think that makes a lot of sense. So again, yeah, I think they're doing pretty good this season. Hopefully, it gets better still. I like that Dame, the Shadow Dame. She's pretty hot, and she's got the cool powers like the Shadow and stuff. That's pretty cool for a villain, you know, a villainess. And they had her bow, which is, I don't know, Quattropus, you know, like octopus, because he had the like 2 Dr. Octopus arms instead of 4. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the what was his name? Road Racer? Or, no, not Road Racer. Was it Rip Roar? Something like that. But that, you know, it's kind of cool. It feels a lot more comic book oriented, more action oriented, less preachy. So I'm willing to give it, you know, a long leash for the, you know, rest of the season. See how they wrap up. Alright, so thank you, and as always, you can leave your comments below, and I will always read them and address them in a subsequent video. Alright, so let's get to the news now, the news portion of our show. Let's talk about, we'll stick with the CW here, let's talk about Stargirl. There's a Stargirl. Nah, my voice, even when my voice is in shape, I wouldn't attempt that. No, thank you. But Stargirl is going to appear on the CW. First off, the Stargirl character played by Brec Bassinger will be briefly introduced during the Crisis on Infinite Earths event. Adding, it will explain how she fits into the bigger DC live-action universe. So we are going to get our first look, a very brief look, especially when you consider all the characters that are going to be in this mini-series. I don't know how they're going to do justice to all of them, and quite frankly, I'm concerned. I don't want it to be another situation like last year where John Wesley Shipp gets like, what did he get, 3 minutes of screen time? I mean, you know, put some spect on John Wesley Shipp's Barry Allen, will you please, this year? But she will get an introduction. And then after that, the show will be on the CW's network. I'm not sure if it's on their streaming service or not, but let's take a look at the copy and we'll find out. The CW will broadcast each episode the day after its debut on the DC Universe, which is interesting because why bother with the DC Universe now? What do they have? I guess they still have Titans, which I guess is popular. I kind of lost all interest in that, to be honest with you. Furthermore, after airing on the CW, each new episode of Stargirl will be available to stream on the network's free digital platforms. That's good. I can Roku it. Although the forthcoming Brec Bassinger-led show will be the first DC Universe program to air on linear television, it's not the only drama on the streaming service to find a second home, as Doom Patrol is set to be available on HBO Max. That's interesting. I don't know, I seen Doom Patrol on DVD in Walmart, I think yesterday. So these shows are coming out on DVD. It's kind of making me feel like maybe I should check them out. But from what I hear, I don't know if they would be, I don't know if they'd be up my alley because, you know, that's kind of, I don't like the mature stuff. By the way, I just did my review of Daredevil Season 3, which you should check out, even though it's a little late. I'm sure most of the fans of, you know, comic books and live-action comic book media would probably have already seen it, but if you want to know what yours truly thought about it, check it out, and I'll probably put a card at the end of the video so that you can. Let's see, scheduled to premiere sometime in 2020, Stargirl will also feature Joe McHale from Community, Henry Thomas, The Haunting of Hill House, Lou Ferrigno Jr., SWAT, Meg DeLacy, The Fosters, and Angelica Washington from Shameless. Are you excited about Stargirl? She's cute, you know. I'll give her a shot. I'll see how it turns out. They're seeming to flood the station with a lot of these shows. CW, I mean, I don't know how they're going to be able to facilitate all of them going forward. I mean, Arrow is leaving us, but we're also going to get Superman and Lois starting next season, right? We're going to get Stargirl reruns from DC Universe. We're going to get Green Arrow and the Black Canaries, which is going to be the Mia Queen / Smoke version of Green Arrow. Something I'm not too crazy about. They should have called her Artemis, you know? Called her Artemis and let her be from Young Justice. That would have been interesting instead of having to just... You know, I always said it. I don't like mantle passings. I think you can get away with it sometimes. I mean, like, for instance, you know, there's always a ton of Green Lanterns. That's not necessarily a mantle passing. Robin is okay because it's kind of worked with Batman to have several successors that are, you know, to the Robin mantle. But beyond that, I never really liked mantle passings. I mean, to me, the Flash is Barry Allen. Batman is Bruce Wayne. You know, Superman is Clark Kent. You can't really take those mantles and give them to somebody else. It just doesn't seem... It just doesn't feel right, you know? Some would say, of course, the Flash was really originally Jay Garrick. To which I say, I think if you were counting on Jay Garrick to be the original Flash, no one would know who the Flash is because he wasn't that popular. But, you know, such is the comics, right? Such is comics. All right, let's move on now to, in memoriam, we have to, in memoriam, talk about Michael J Pollard, who just passed on this past week. And everybody will remember him with that, you know, that goofy grin and bright eyes and sort of that goofy charm. He was popularly known probably from Bonnie and Clyde in the late 60s. He played the getaway driver. He was also Bug Bailey in Dick Tracy, which is another great movie you should check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Of course, famously played in Star Trek in the episode Miri. I forget the name of the character. He was the Tell 'em Jim guy. Tell 'em Jim. Tell 'em Jim. Tell 'em Jim. But to me, he'll always be remembered as the quintessential Mr. Mxyzptlk. He was the quintessential Mr. Mxyzptlk actor. If you've ever seen Superboy, the live-action series, and if you haven't, why haven't you? I think it's a real underrated series. He played Mr. Mxyzptlk in 2 episodes, one in the first season and the second in the second season. And I guess, I don't know, they kind of tried to mature up the series for 3 and 4. And to my everlasting upsettedness, if that's a term, I don't even know. But to my enduring upsettedness, the show was canceled in favor of Lois and Clark, which is one of the reasons why that show got off on the wrong foot with me, and I never really gave it a proper watch. I mean, I feel bad. I mean, Dean Cain's a great guy, and Terry Hatcher, of course, lovely, but I just felt like they're going to do a romantic comedy with Superman, and we've got such a great show in Superboy. And they accomplished a lot in that series. They did a lot. They hit a lot of great points. You know, some of the episodes were kind of passable. But anyway, not to get away from the subject, though. But, yeah, R.I.P. Michael J. Pollard. He was certainly a character. And he passed on, I believe, of cardiac arrest at the age of 80. And, yeah, he was just a great character in Superboy, you know. Hey, Soupy! I can just hear his voice right now. And he wore the comic-accurate costume when I'm sure nobody else would, right? How many people are going to wear that elfish costume from the comics? And the bowler derby, the hair looking exactly the same. I mean, he was, you know, the quintessential Mr. Mxyzptlk, and he, you know, he went all out to portray Mr. Mxyzptlk exactly the way he was drawn and exactly the way he was written. So, you know, to that mischievous elf, we tip our bowler hat, and thank you for your years of service in the comic book films and television that you appeared in, and, of course, Star Trek. You will always be fondly remembered. Rest in peace, Michael J. Pollard. Okay, so let's move on now to the Batman. We have more Batman casting. And the latest to be added to Matt Reeves' live-action Batman reboot is John Turturro of, let's see, Transformers fame. That's what I remember him from. Is he the guy from Monk? Wasn't he Monk's brother too, I think? I'm pretty sure. I don't know, I haven't seen Monk in ages since the show went off the air. But yeah, I think that was him. He was sort of like his brother. Anyway, Matt Reeves has surprised fans with the casting of another big DC Comics villain, revealing via Twitter that two-time Golden Globe nominee John Turturro has joined the cast of his highly anticipated upcoming superhero adventure, The Batman, as Gotham City crime lord Carmine Falcone. Matt Reeves, or is it Falcone? I think it's Falcone, isn't it? Because they did two different versions. In the Nolan Batman, it was Falcone. And in Gotham, it was Falcone. Right? So it's kind of up to your interpretation, I guess. I think it's Falcone, right? I don't know. Matt Reeves is directing from a screenplay he co-wrote with Matheson Tomlin. Production is expected to commence at the end of 2019 or early 2020. So, again, I'm thinking of passing on this one. I said it before. I am not happy with the casting. I suppose Turturro's alright. But, I am through supporting when they are race-bending characters in a superhero movie. At this point, I'm fed up with it. I'm tired of it. That's it. I'm done. You can kind of try to make excuses and get around it, but honestly, I mean, the buck has to stop somewhere, and if you keep rewarding them for race-changing characters such as Commissioner Gordon and Selina Kyle, they're just going to completely ignore the fact that some of us are discontent, and I'm gonna speak with my wallet, thank you. You know, I guess I shouldn't brag so highly about it, because if it does look exceptionally good, especially they're teasing the blue Batman suit. I've always wanted to see the blue Batman suit in live action. We haven't seen it since Adam West. I mean, arguably they had kind of a dark blue for Batman, I think, in Batman and Robin, but that hardly even qualifies, right? But, yeah, that would be so sweet to see that. I don't know, I just, like, my heart ain't in it. It's like the next Spider-Man movie. At this point, they completely have crapped on Spider-Man so badly. I'm not interested in a Spider-Man 3. I mean, that's great. They brought back J.K. Simmons for a cameo, and they might have another cool-looking villain from, you know, Kraven or Scorpion or something. But I don't know, my heart ain't in it. I just feel like they just completely, you know, got away from the source material there as well. Alright, so let me know what you think in the comments below about the Batman. And alright, going up to our feature story of the day. This story broke, I think, last Saturday, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it because I had other stuff already all, you know, ready to go. But Black Adam has gotten a release date. Now remember, this has gone back how many years now at this point, where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you always have to say that, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he was signed to play Black Adam. There was a lot of speculation he would play Shazam. Thankfully, he got Black Adam instead, which allowed us to have Zach Levi. Oh god, I can't even remember his name. Levi, right? Like the jeans. Zachary Levi as the Shazam, you know, the Billy Batson Shazam. you know, he looks just like Black Adam. You know what I mean? There's no way that, you know, there could be a better guy to play the Black Adam than The Rock. It's finally got a release date. It's been since, I think, no exaggeration, what, 2015? 2014 or 15, they've been, you know, prepping this movie for The Rock. And originally it was thought maybe he would be the bad guy in a Shazam movie. Obviously that didn't happen. But December 22nd, 2021, we are going to see the Black Adam major motion picture. I don't know. I don't know why you don't put him in a Shazam movie or a Shazam movie first. A Black Adam movie. They've been really cautious trying to figure out where to place him. I think there was rumors that he was going to be in a David Ayer-helmed sequel for the Suicide Squad. But then, of course, those plans went by the wayside. They brought in James Gunn, and it's going to be a completely different thing. But yeah, so apparently now Black Adam is going to... I don't know about this. He's going to be sort of an anti-hero. He's going to be, you know, with a noble intent, but sort of still a loose cannon, which, I don't know, I always liked Black Adam being a villain. It's kind of like Venom, but at least with Venom, you know, I think Eddie Brock was always sort of a morally neutral character. I don't think he was necessarily evil, so it's okay to kind of try to play with that. With Black Adam, I think, again, I'm not an expert on Captain Marvel / Shazam lore, but I think he was always power hungry, and that's kind of what led to the, you know, to the fall of him being the you know, the Guardian Protector or whatever it is they consider the Shazams. Okay, while speaking to Screen Rant, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was asked about the possibility of his character throwing hands with Shazam, and while the actor hinted that their face-off was being saved for a later adventure, he did seemingly confirm that the movie would introduce the world to the JSA. The JSA, the Justice Society of America, which, let me see, who's in that? Off the top of my head, I think it's Dr. Fate, Hawkman, what is it, Dr. Midnight, I think? Something like that? I'm not sure. I think that's about it. We'll see. This seems like a bit of a throwaway reveal, but it does line up with what we've previously heard. As for which specific Justice Society members will feature, a separate report from that hashtag show claims that Hawkman, Atom Smasher, and Stargirl will appear. Interesting. Yeah, because I've heard that too. I heard that Hawkman before. We've heard about that, haven't we? That Hawkman, they're trying to get a film of him off the ground and or maybe spinning him off from a Black Adam film. It's an interesting character and very hard to nail down, as you could see in the Legends of Tomorrow version, where they kind of sort of did the character, but again, they sort of sidestepped him and didn't really give him the justice he deserved, I don't think. But they tried. Let's see. Apparently, the studio is currently searching for an actor between the ages of 30 to 39 to play Carter Hall, with an emphasis on landing someone the audience can believe could go toe-to-toe with the Brahma Bull. They seem to be casting younger for the other two, ages 20 to 29. Yeah, well, Stargirl's young, you know. Stargirl's going to be everywhere pretty soon. That's an up-and-coming character. Black Adam producer Hiram Garcia is hoping that Henry Cavill will reprise his role as Superman for Warner Brothers' upcoming comic book caper starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's a separate story, but it ties right in. Speaking to comicbook.com, Garcia discussed Cavill's potential involvement, saying, "I think the DC universe is a wonderful universe, and we're open to anything. We have big aspirations for it. We're friends with Henry. Dwayne and Henry are friends. It's a huge comic book brand as well, and I always just loved the idea. Who knows? But man, Black Adam for Superman is really cool. That'd be really powerful." Although there have been reports Henry Cavill would not reprise his role as Superman in the DC Extended Universe following Justice League, the actor himself says he isn't ready to give up on the part yet. I'm not just going to sit quietly in the dark as all this stuff is going on, Cavill told Men's Health. I've not given up the role. There's a lot I have to give for Superman yet. A lot of storytelling to do. A lot of real, true depths to the honesty of the character. I want to get into. I want to reflect the comic books. That's important to me. There's a lot of justice to be done for Superman. The status is, you'll see. So, again, I've said this many, many times. I hate and despise the Zack Snyder films. The DC films Zack Snyder did. Snack Zider, as I call him. But, I think Henry Cavill deserves better. I think in the little bit that we got to see of him in Justice League, and again, I am a fan of Justice League. I liked that movie regardless of the fact that I guess some, I don't know, maybe 35% of it maybe is Snyder's. Much of it was reshot by Joss Whedon. And from that, I think that Henry Cavill just needs better scripts to play Superman. He's got the part down. He looks the part. He loves the character and wants to play the character. I don't see why you take the character away from him because of the bad reception of the previous movies. And, of course, you've got the Zack Snyder cult that's out there begging for the Snyder cut of Justice League. And I guess that's news in and of itself. I don't really have any notes on that here, but apparently during the past week, pretty much the entire cast, I believe, of Justice League tweeted that they wanted the Snyder Cut, and they support the Snyder Cut hashtag. I know Gal Gadot did, Ben Affleck did. I know that Ray Fisher is a big fan of Zack Snyder. He must have. I'm not sure about Ezra Miller either, but he probably did. I think the guy that played Manta Ray, he wasn't even in the Justice League, but he signed off on it as well. I think Joe Manganiello did. He's got, of course, a small role at the very end as a post-credits tag. Again, I would say as a curiosity, maybe release the Snyder Cut. A lot of people are interested in it, and it's not going to really make any difference going forward because they're not really going to continue that storyline. But I don't see the point in it. I really don't care if they release the Snyder Cut or not. I say keep Henry Cavill in the role of Superman. Just give him better scripts. Just move forward. You know, give us an optimistic Superman the way that the fans want, the way that Cavill wants. You know, there's no reason not to. Particularly if you're going to keep Jason Momoa, if you're going to keep Gal Gadot. I know they're rebooting with Batman, but that's basically because Ben Affleck is a queer duck, to say the least, and it's difficult. You know, I knew he wasn't going to stick around. He doesn't make, superheroing easy. I mean, Daredevil, I thought he was great in it, and he kind of poo-pooed it after a year or two that he didn't want to play Daredevil after that movie came out, which pretty much shut down any and all possibility of a sequel. So, I don't know what they're going to do with Batman going forward. That's the tough thing. If they're going to do another Justice League, it's going to look strange if basically you do have all the same actors and not the Batman actor. But, I don't know. I think the idea is to keep Batman separate for a while. But, until such time as, it's not feasible anymore for Cavill to play the role, I would say give it to him. Let him play Superman again. Give him some good scripts. Let him play the Superman that he wants to play and that the fans want to see. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Do you want to see Henry Cavill return as the Man of Steel in the DC Extended Universe? Or I think they should just basically part ways. I think J.J. Abrams is supposedly working on a Superman movie, which again gives me pause. I think I did the video a couple of weeks ago saying JJ is going to contaminate another series. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, so that is about it for another stellar, stunning broadcast. And yes, we did bring it up to close to an hour. Want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving, because chances are I am not going to be doing another video until after Thanksgiving. Probably on Thanksgiving weekend we'll be having another video. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes I take Thanksgiving weekend off. But we'll see. And just want to tell everyone to enjoy the holiday, enjoy the football, enjoy the good food, and as always, be sure to give thanks to God for all your blessings. I feel so blessed this year. Just so many great things. I've got 4 books released this year, and, you know, it's such a wonderful feeling when, you know, struggling at first, not really knowing what I was doing, and still getting a book out like once every, you know, 16 months, something like that it would be. Now I've got the tools, and I've got, you know, the proper channels to get all the stuff in the pipeline. So my career as a comic book artist and writer is, you know, secure, thank God, and I'm very thankful for that. Also very thankful for my health, the health of my family, and our happiness and well-being. So, you know, very grateful, and it's always important to take a few moments to be grateful and to be thankful for all the wonderful blessings you have in life. And remember, even through the tough times, I've had tough times myself. Thankfully, they're over, but during all the tough times, I felt God walking with me. And looking back now at the toughest of tough times, I can see very clearly where the path led me. Just keep your eyes on Jesus and follow the path marked out. The going gets tough at points. It's not, you know, it's never promised that we're going to have peace and happiness and prosperity every step of the way. But there is, you know, great peace and contentment, you know, following the footsteps of Jesus. So I'm very thankful to Jesus for all the wonderful blessings I've received, and for just Christ's being with me during the tough times. Very thankful, very grateful, and I hope you are thankful and grateful for your blessings as well. And yeah, enjoy the holiday. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there, one and all. Before we wrap it up, who's playing this week? Let's see, on Thanksgiving. It's going to be, let's see, the Bills and Cowboys, right? Bills and Cowboys are playing. That's the afternoon game. You know, the second game. Gee, that's a tough one. I got to see how they play against the Patriots first. They're playing the Patriots this weekend, my team. And so we'll see how that works out. Bears and Lions, that's the earlier game. Lions, of course, always the Thanksgiving team. Gee, you know, I don't know who I'd pick in that one either right this minute, because both teams have underperformed. They got similar records, right? 4-6 for Chicago, 3-6-1 tie for the Lions. Basically a toss-up. The nighttime game, Saints and Falcons, I do feel pretty confident in saying Saints, even though the Falcons, yeah, they showed a little resolve the past couple of weeks, I think. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a lot of fun. So, okay, that ought to do it for another wonderful and prestigious episode of the Torch News Roundup and Johnny Torch Live. Thank you for being here. God love you for supporting the channel and supporting the show. And we will, let me see, I'm going to try to see because I still got Netflix, and I got through with the Daredevil Season 3. I'm going to try to watch Into the Spider-Verse tonight. And possibly I will see if I can get that review out and give you my thoughts on it sometime before Thanksgiving. I'm thinking maybe I'll be able to get that video done, you know, maybe over the weekend here. But if not, we'll see you back next Saturday at our regularly scheduled time for the only way to spend your Saturday here with us on the Johnny Torch Live broadcast. Thank you once again for joining us, and happy Thanksgiving. This is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.